1972. One night, about 11 o'clock at night, we just said, road trip. Let's go find Van Tassel. So we jumped in a 1950 Ford panel truck painted purple with a giant turtle on the side and proceeded to drive out to the desert. At that point, the only paved road was Old Woman Springs Road, and we saw the sign that pointed to Landers, and we knew that was kind of the area. So we basically got out here and spent a couple hours driving around in the dark on dirt roads, trying to see if we could find the Integratron. So eventually we saw this kind of greenish glow and headed toward that, and it turned out to be the Integratron. And we pulled up to it, and my recollection was about 20 feet away from the dome of the Integratron was a chain link fence about 6 feet tall, and about 20 feet away from that there was another chain link fence, and we were so excited. It was kind of like the apes finding the thing in 2001. We're jumping on the fence and making animal sounds and whoo, whoo, ah, ah, ah. We're just like, we couldn't believe we found the place. 2 minutes later, we hear the sound of a shotgun cocking in the darkness, and a voice goes, "Who are you? What are you doing?" And we go, "Are you Van Tassel?" And this voice in the darkness goes, "No, I'm Swede, his son-in-law to be. What do you want with Van Tassel?" And we said, "Well, we just wanted to come out here and talk to him." And he goes, "Where are you going to stay?" And we go, "Well, we don't know." And he says, "Well, you can stay here. I'll be back." And Swede comes walking back with a bottle of whiskey, and we sat up from probably 2 a.m. till about dawn, drinking whiskey with Swede. And he says, "Well, Van Tassel will be at the Giant Rock Airport Cafe in the morning at 10 o'clock. You know, my wife-to-be is his daughter. She's the waitress there." And we kind of went, okay. So he told us how to get from the Integratron property out here, and we drove out and had breakfast with Dr. Van Tassel for about an hour and a half, trying to kind of explain to us Einstein or whoever was this theory of relativity where you cannot create or destroy energy. It's always existing in some facet. And that basically the Integratron was kind of a giant receptor, and it was kind of like he was going, well, it's not like getting in a time machine like the old movie from the 50s. It was kind of an antenna, and he was hoping that basically he could find those waves and put it on a screen to go back in history. That was kind of the sense of it, but he seemed like a real religious man as well, because he said one of the things that he wanted to be able to tune into on the screen was when Jesus Christ lived, so he could basically share that with the world and that energy. So it was kind of a odd combination of being a physicist and a scientist, and we had heard about him collaborating in some facet with what's his name, Howard Hughes. And so we were just extremely curious and decided we'd come out and see if we could find him, and we did. He was on some level, sort of a genius in one facet because of his intellect, and yet kind of a spiritual person at the same time, which, is kind of an odd mixture, and I don't think that's ever changed since came out here and met him. He was an interesting character. I remember that on the wall in the restaurant there was a center page of, either a Life magazine or a Look magazine with an article and a photograph of old cars, probably from the 40s, and all these people kind of running with various looks of being afraid, and kind of a glowing object in the sky. Since then, I've been in the Integratron, which is an absolutely amazing experience in itself. At that time, I never got inside, but it's a pretty amazing kind of paradolic dome, and sounds and things are just mind-boggling. The thing that still makes me curious to this day is the mix of science and spirituality. It almost seems kind of yin and yang opposites. Serious he was, and he was very open to having a conversation with a total stranger who didn't necessarily believe in UFOs or didn't have a scientific knowledge of the Integratron. I could understand that it was all built with glue and dowels and things to, not have metal interfere with wrapped copper wire. And you go upstairs and you stand over that opening and you whisper to yourself, and you're hearing your voice going in this deep dark, and it's like, what is this? How does this happen?